love and support for the LGBTQ community.
A transgender woman who is getting national attention over her use of the locker room at the Santee YMCA says she is overwhelmed by the support she's receiving from strangers young and old. Good evening, I'm Kimberly Hunt. And this all started when a teenager told the city council she saw a naked male in the women's locker room. My co-anchor Wale Alayu is live in Santee where the fallout over this issue continues. Hi, Wale.
Yeah, Kimberly, the Cameron family YMCA continues to be at the center of what has turned into now a national political firestorm, bringing up questions about discrimination, equal access to public places, and individual rights, including privacy. At the center of all of this, a 17-year-old girl who felt uncomfortable and threatened when she saw a transgender woman in the locker room. And that woman, Kristen Lily Renee Wood, who says she was just going about her usual trip to the gym, only to see all of those erupt around her. You can see things are back to normal here today. Folks going in for some gymnastics, doing some swimming lessons. I see things are back to normal here. It's a very different scene today from when you were here last night. Hundreds of people turned out yesterday for a rally right here outside the front door, calling on the Y to change its policy and prevent transgender people from using the locker room of their gender identity. The Y closed early to keep its members and staff safe. While that rally was happening, dozens of counter-protesters held their own rally. At times, members of the two rallies confronted each other in the middle, yelling at each other, although there was little physical contact. All right, support is pouring in for the transgender woman. ABC 10 News reporter Austin Gravish spoke to her today to see how she is feeling after last night's protest.
Laura Newbury is rallying behind her friend.
I was absolutely blown away. I couldn't believe that in this day and age this would blow up again.
The Santee resident swims a few days a week with Kristen Lily Renee Wood at the YMCA. The retirees are Aqua sisters and share laughs during classes in the pool. And on Wednesday night, they stood together while hundreds protested against Wood's use of the female locker room. The protest comes after a 17-year-old girl told the Santee City Council she saw the backside of a naked transgender person in the shower. That person was Wood, who uses a private shower in the women's locker room after her classes. Less than 24 hours after the protest, Wood says the adrenaline she felt has worn off. She's choosing to focus on the support she's getting.
People, entire families were coming up to get their picture taken and to introduce me to their children.
And Wood is not done fighting. She's planning to speak next Wednesday at the Santee City Council meeting.
It's important that they finally get to hear the truth and they finally get to put a face on this scary transgender woman who was misgendered.
And despite threats of violence, Wood says she's not scared.
You know, I know how to give an insult out and I know what areas to kick and punch. You know, at least enough to be able to run till I can get to my car and get out of here.
And at the meeting, she'll have the support of her Aqua sisters.
My husband and I are thinking about putting some signs together that say we support Chrissy so that we have, the visual.
Friendship through thick and thin.
Austin Gravish joining me now. Austin, I feel like a big part of the story that's either been a misconception or people are just forgetting about is that Wood has fully transitioned into a woman and was in the woman's bathroom.
Yeah, that's right, Wale. In fact, she says she is a woman, and she really wants to drive home the fact that she transitioned over 5 years ago, and that she is a woman, and she says she's a woman. Period, and that's where it ends.
Absolutely. And let's transition ourselves into the other side of the story. That 17-year-old girl. What are we hearing from her?
Yeah, interestingly enough, I did not see Rebecca Phillips here last night at the protest, and I have tried to get in touch with her. I left a message yesterday at her workplace, but I have not had a phone call back. Certainly we would like to speak to her, but I haven't heard from her, and I haven't heard any more public comments from her. It will be interesting to see if she comes out to that city council meeting next week. Certainly she's already had her voice heard there. Now Wood is going to have her voice heard there as well. It would be interesting to see if the two were there at the same time.
Absolutely. You definitely want to hear from that 17-year-old and how she's even responding to the protest. Austin, thank you very much.
You're
Let's
welcome.
dive deeper into that part of the story and how this incident got into the public limelight last week. That 17-year-old girl that we were just talking about, her name is Rebecca Phillips. She got up to speak at the Santee City Council meeting, sparking the debate. Here's some of what she had to say.
As I was showering after my workout, I saw a naked male in the women's locker room. I immediately went back into the shower, terrified, and hid behind their flimsy excuse for a curtain until he was gone. I was made to feel as though I had done something wrong when I talked to people at the YMCA. Somehow, the indecent exposure of a male to a female minor was an inconvenience to them.
If you want to hear Phillips' full statement, we put it on 10news.com. You heard Phillips refer to Wood as male as opposed to female. You also heard her accuse Wood of indecent exposure to a minor. To be clear, from how she has described what happened, it appears it just so happened that Wood passed by where Phillips was in the locker room and that Phillips only saw Kristen Wood's backside as she walked by. Now, the YMCA told her that they are following the law and that Wood is actually allowed to use the facility. However, the Y did say it apologizes to Phillips for not providing enough support to her with her feelings of hurt and frustration. All right, so here's a big question in all of this. Are there any legal issues in this case? If so, what? We tracked down legal analyst Dan Eden to ask. He says there are multiple kinds of laws that could be at play, and they may be in conflict with one another.
California is very protective of privacy rights on the one hand, and it has a strong public policy against discriminating against people based on their gender or their gender identity. And what we have here is a clash of interests that ultimately perhaps the courts will have to resolve if the legislature doesn't do something itself.
And we're going to dive more into that clash of interests he was talking about. We're going to dive into those legal issues and what can be done about them coming up in a bit. But Kimberly, it's really an incident that has raised lots of big questions that our society is reckoning with right now, not only here in Santee, but all across the country.
Sparked a lot of dialogue. Thank you, Ole. We'll check back in.